Okay, so I wanted to include an extra video because I realized that you really can't see a lot of the settings in the painting video, and I kind of started to feel like, um, that would be a bother to some people to not be able to exactly see what settings I'm using. So I thought I'd do this little bug with the leaf. It's a project that I'm actually working on right now, and just kind of include it in there. And this is exactly the same as the large painting. All my settings are going to be the same, and so I'll do some zoom ins with this. I'm doing this all in one take, all real time, not twice as fast like the other video, so that you can kind of see everything that I'm doing. So I've got this sketch here, and I've just scanned it in my scanner and brought it in here into Photoshop, and I cropped it already, and so here it is. And so it's on the background layer right here, and so what I'm going to do is double click that and turn that to layer 0, because I like to do that. I don't like it to be a different layer than all the other layers. And then I'm going to make sure that the mode is on RGB color. It's on grayscale right now. Make sure that's on RGB color. And I'm going to lock. Nope, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to colorize this sketch. This is something I didn't show in the other video. I actually didn't do it in the other video. So I don't always do this, but for this little vignette, I think it's appropriate. So what I'm going to do is go up here to Image, and then Adjustments, and then Hue Saturation. And this is very important. I'm going to click this little button right here, Colorize, and immediately you can kind of see the color change. Let's move this over. So if I change this hue slider, that's going to change the actual color of the sketch. So that can be very helpful. This is the saturation, so this is how bright it's going to be. But this can really help. Like if you're going to do like I'm going to do a red bug. So I'm going to choose kind of a purpley color, because that's kind of the dark side of the red, and then it'll kind of make more sense. This lightness slider here, you can put that where you want it. I want to keep the background white, so I'm just going to keep it right in there, and then click OK. And then I'm going to lock this layer. I don't want anything to happen to my sketch. I'm going to get a new layer. Okay, oops, I got an extra one. That's okay, we'll use him another time. So this layer right here, I'm going to make that a multiply layer. And my opacity is really high, so I'm going to bring that down. My flow is really high. Most of the time my flow I keep at 30%. I don't like to mess with both sliders, so I found that 30% somewhere around there works really well for me. And then get my color picker here, and let's choose kind of a purple color and see what this looks like here. Make sure I don't want any texture right now, so I'm going to go to my brush palette, which popped up way over there, and I'm going to turn off the texture. The texture's already off. Probably won't let me get rid of it, so I'm just going to move it off. And let's see, yeah, okay, so I'm in multiply. I'm just going to tap this, just lightly tapping. I've got kind of a soft brush. Okay, let's just take a look at the brush. I always choose, and I probably didn't explain this very well, I choose any one of these round brushes. They're all the same to me, because again, bracket up, if I choose a small one, I can bracket up, and now I've got a big one. See how it's changing when I bracket up, bracket down. I never pick any of these brushes. That's silly to have to go in here. All you got to do is bracket up and bracket down. And then I also don't choose a soft or a hard one, because I just have to shift bracket up and bracket down, and that's the bracket next to the P on your keyboard. I am on a PC and in Photoshop CS2, and I'm just bracketing up and down, holding the shift button in. Okay, so I always just choose a round brush. That makes it easy. So I got a round brush. I want to make sure it's soft. I'm just going to continue on here, just laying in some really soft color in multiply. That's really key because it's like working with markers, so it's just letting my sketch stay there. It's actually, when I go over this, it'll just darken the sketch a little bit. Now I'm going to start just saying, okay, well, that edge right there is probably going to go into shadow, and then his little cheek right here, that's probably going to be in shadow. Under this leaf, we're probably going to have some shadow under there. So I'm just with the purple, I'm just going to keep kind of down under here. There's going to be a shadow, you know. Let's just put some shadow on his belly. I'm thinking his belly is going to be white or a light color, you know. So I'm not going to darken that quite as much. Just bracketing. When you hear me clicking, I'm bracketing the size of the brush down to meet the size that I need. Okay, so now I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and pick another color for the leaf. I'm just going to get some green, get kind of a dark color. I work from dark to light. That's not dark enough. Let's come down here, get some of this color right here. I'm just going to paint this leaf in here and probably have some shadow under this, under his little teeth there. I don't know how finished I'm going to make this video about a half an hour, so I don't know quite how far I'll get, but I'll probably get pretty close to being done, if not done. How about a shadow color, maybe a kind of a dark blue down here. Just kind of throw that in there. Now, I can always turn down my sketch. Remember that, because my sketch is on a different layer. If I unlock that, I can take that opacity down. See that? Now let's actually let's do something better. Let's take this layer right here, number 2, put it under 0. Now it's below there. It's still a piece of glass. There's nothing. It's just like glass. There's no opacity there. But let's flip this so the background color was white. Now it's on the foreground, and get the paint bucket. Okay, and then we're gonna fill in this layer 2 with white. You saw that, how it just changed right there. And now when I turn down, the sketch layer, you'll see that it'll disappear. See that? That sketch is just disappearing. That's if I want it gone, but I'm actually relying on it. I use the sketch, but just so you know, you can do that. You know, you can get rid of your sketch. I'm just turning it down again. So now I've got, you know, white. This is like a white piece of paper, and then this is a layer of glass that I painted on, and it's got some white on it too in the background. Okay, so anyway, just to kind of show you some options that you can use there, I'm going to go ahead and lock both of these, and I'm going to go back to my painting here. I've got the darks in pretty good. Let's actually get some blue for the eye. Get my paintbrush again and just paint in some blue for the eye color. Let's just go ahead and hit that whole thing. Okay, and then that's pretty good for my little underpainting on this guy here. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and get another layer. I'm going to lock this one. Get another one. A lot of times what you would see in my painting that was sped up, the long painting, you'd see me toggling on and off a layer. So let's say this is normal. I'm just going to throw some paint on here real quick, and then, you know, you'd see me doing this thing where I'm toggling on and off, and I'm just looking to see if I like that paint and if I need to modify it, and then I'd get the eraser sometimes and erase some of that paint off of there. That's one nice thing that you can do, you know. But I'm gonna actually erase all the paint off here and start over on this layer. So I'm gonna actually get my texture now. So window, brushes, and it's over here. And we're going to click on texture. Okay. And let's do a little test here. And I think the texture is too small for what I want. So let's raise that texture up. And then let's take a look at it. Might want to just look at this a little larger. And sometimes you can't see it until you go to a really light color. It's still not enough texture. That's better. Okay. I'm going to actually go a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'll move that. Oops. Let's move that back off of here. And then you can, to get rid of that, if you do a lot of painting on a layer and you just want to get it done real quick, just hit select and all, and then backspace, and you just get rid of it all. You don't have to use your eraser and worry about not being able to get it or not. So, and then if you want to get rid of that marquee, just you can just get a, sometimes you got to be zoomed out. You got to click out here. There you go. Okay. All right. So let's get some red again. We'll zoom in, and we'll do a little painting on this thing. We're on normal. Okay. And this is how I'm painting. You know, you see me moving the cursor around really quick. You know, in the other painting, and it was only twice as fast because this is what I'm doing, just little taps. And I don't really use, let's see, I got to think about this as I'm doing it here. I don't really use the pressure sensitivity on my Wacom tablet, and the sad reality of that is that when I set it up, I couldn't get it to work, or I didn't understand how it worked, so I learned to do it without it. And my friend Jim Madsen thinks I'm crazy because he thinks it's easier to use pressure sensitivity, and it might be, but man, I'm just so happy with the way that that this thing works that I've just never felt the need to go back. This feels like how I was painting with you know, with acrylics. So I'm like, well, let's not fix what's not broken, you know. So I'm just going to put a lot of bright color in there, and then I'm going to put some bright color in on top of this eye. Okay, so we got that in there, and you know, let's repeat that color on his belly. Why not? You know, it'll help with the color harmony and color repetition. Let's get some of that green where we want to make this leaf green, right? And you're probably hearing me clicking, and I'm just clicking up and down. That's what I do during the video. I have one hand on the Wacom tablet, you know, using the pen tool, and then the other hand I just keep on my keyboard, and I can just size up and down. And the thing that I love about painting digitally, one of the things that I love, is your pen, your brush is always the right size. It's always loaded with paint, and it never needs to be cleaned out. And so you can get a lot done really fast. That's why a lot of people say, boy, it's just so fast, you know. And that's just simply because you know, those things right there. Okay, now I didn't get these areas dark enough down in here, these little the little folds in him. So I'm going to go back and just work on this layer and put some dark in there. So I'm going to get a dark color here, get kind of a cool color, and I'm just going to kind of try to enhance these little shadow areas a little bit. Okay. You know, and the one thing that I like about painting is, for me, is that no two paintings are alike, and I don't have my process dialed in enough to where it just feels mechanical. Because, you know, I always like trying to feel it out, and I like the idea that every painting might be a little different. I can try a little bit different thing here and a little bit different thing there, and you know, sometimes you come up with successes, and sometimes you come up with not so good successes, right? So just gonna kind of darken. Now this isn't darkening too well because it's underneath this red, so I can darken all day, but that red's on top of it. Same with over here. I might just want to, just for time's sake, switch the layers, and now you'll see that that goes on there better. It does take some getting used to when you first start working in layers. I'm thinking, this can fall darker down here because this is probably going to be more shadow. But the more you fool around with this program, the more you're amazed. I think I'm always amazed at what this program is capable of, what kind of program they put into Photoshop. But also your learning curve just gets better and better. And so anyway, as long as you're having fun, right? Okay. So let's see here. Oh yeah, reinforce these little, I don't know what that is. Is that a nose? I won't put the eyeballs in just yet. Maybe we'll go ahead and start putting these little feet in there. This little hand, I guess, holding on to this little leaf. And then one thing that I forgot to do that I could have already done is go ahead and put these, give him some little teeth. He's gonna need some little chompers to get through this leaf here. Again, I'm doing this painting pretty quick. I'm not gonna really polish it up a ton, but I think you'll get the idea. I just really wanted you to have a video that really showed what I'm doing. Okay, so you know, I like what I have, and I'm gonna go ahead and commit to what I have, and I'm gonna flatten these two layers here. So I've just selected them. If you're selected on one, you shift and click on the other one, and they're both selected, and then you just come up to layer and then merge layers. So now I've got these as one. Whoops, that didn't work. And why didn't that work? I think because this is a multiply layer, so I can't flatten to that. That's going to mess it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock that one, and I'll lock this one, and I'll get another one, and then I'll just have some extra layers. This will be a layer that I'll keep. Layer 1, I'll keep layer 0 and 2, and layer 3 will be my paint layer that I flatten to. So there you go. So okay, so now we got a new layer, and let's move through the color wheel. I like to lighten my colors by going, you know, if I have red, I like to just move up in the color wheel as I'm working. I might work towards white. See, this is white here. Over here is tinting, and this is shading when you move down towards black. And so as I move to lighten, I want to get some orange, and I want to add a little bit of white to it right there. Okay, and that's going to help me have a richer color on this thing. I like to add this really light and gentle. I just 30% opacity, 30% flow. Come around here, add a little bit there. A lot of people do this naturally in their work. It's no big secret or anything. It is a little washed out. I think I got a little bit too much white. I'm just going to go back in actually and hit. I'm going to move back into the red a little bit just to hit this. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to get some lighter kind of a teal for this up here. That's not doing a whole lot, is it? So let's go even lighter. Let's see what that does. Not a whole lot. That's pretty brilliant up there. That might just be ready for a highlight. Let's go ahead and throw a highlight in there. Get a little more opacity. And just say, yeah, he'll probably have a highlight right around here. And maybe one right there. And you know what? This is probably ready for one too. Just a little highlight there, and maybe a little one there. And actually, well, yeah, that's probably pretty good. This is going to have this little edge right here. Might have its own little highlight on it. Oops. I hit that in the wrong spot. Just hitting Control-Alt-Z to undo. I hope I didn't throw in too many key commands without explaining what I'm doing. Let's fix up these little, get the zoom tool. We can actually fix these, make these look a little nicer. Maybe give them a little definition here on these little teeth here. I love the fact that you can always draw back into your painting in Photoshop. You've always got that ability. You can do that in acrylics. And in fact, I used to draw with pencil back on top of my acrylic paintings when I would start to lose my sketch. You know what? His hands could use a little delineation. Let's see. What would a bug hand look like? Maybe it's just a little roundy thing. This is actually a little children's book that I'm working on. I might actually be able to finish this painting and use it. So that's neat, huh? Come around there and fix that a little bit. On the grass in the other painting, what you saw me doing is a lot of this right here. Just trying to find that line and reinforce it. Come over here and just try to perfect it. I will say again, if you missed it on the other video, that this Wacom tablet was really a foreign, alien instrument for me at first. It took me, the better part of, I hate to say it, but 2 or 3 months before it really started to feel right. And then it started to give me carpal tunnel syndrome. And I've heard from other people that they've had the same problem. And then a couple people have gave up on it, went to the Cintiq monitor where you draw right on the monitor. I went through probably about a month when I was working on a book every day on this thing, and it just, my forearm started to really freeze up on me, and I even went out and bought a brace to kind of squeeze my upper forearm, and that felt good. It felt better because it felt like I had a Charlie horse in my forearm, and then and then when I'd stop painting, it wouldn't be that bad. But I started wondering, let's give him, he's just dying for a little eyeball. I started wondering, am I going to be able to continue using this thing, or is it going to just kind of kill me? And what I was doing is I was just gripping the pen so tight. You know, it's like when you learn I don't know if you ever play video games, but when you learn a new video game or you get a new console, you know, when I play video games with my kids, I grip the controller like with a death grip and not even know it, you know, because I'm so focused in on the game, and then when the game's over, my hands are killing me. And I think it was kind of the same thing like that, where, you know, I just holding on way too tight, and in learning it and in getting better with it, I'm just going to reinforce these lines, not really caring what layer I'm on a whole lot, because I'm just about done. But anyway, it's gone away, and the long story short is I don't have any more problems with that, so that's the good news. Every now and then when I paint all day long, it gets a little sore, and I think one of the reasons is that because you can't rotate, like if you're working on a sketchbook, you're constantly working and rotating that book around so that it's comfortable for your wrist. I think that the problem is that everything stays the same, the surface and everything, and so, you know, you end up. I should have just left my sketch black or made it darker. But so I think it's because you can't rotate the canvas. Now in CS5, you can rotate the canvas, so that it might be something for me to look into getting Photoshop 5. I'm going to keep my texture on and paint in with white paint on top of this. I don't want a real hard edge. I want to maintain that textury feeling. So I'm just kind of painting out. I'm going to get some more paint here, some more flow, and some more opacity. I just kind of paint out this sketch here. You can see the texture in there. I hope you can see that. Fix this here, fix it there. Let's put a little color into that leaf. Let's get some green. Kind of baffles me sometimes. Let's see here. Get the flow down a little bit. These are some pretty brilliant colors, some pretty gaudy colors, but you can, let's go to yellow, lighten it. Again, I'm going to yellow, but I'm also getting some white in there for the highlight areas. Maybe a highlight over here on this edge over here. Edges are so important. How about a couple little highlights on his hands? He might need those. Just a little bit. When I was teaching a high school class out in California, a high school ROP art class, regional occupation program, my high school students just didn't quite understand or get me doing cute stuff. It was kind of funny. They just couldn't get their brain around why I would want to do something like this, and when there's, you know, skulls to be done and muscle men and goblins and orcs and things like that. But I like doing cute things. Maybe even a little more highlight right in here. Maybe a little bit in the nose there. Got some on the teeth here. And that's pretty much it. I hope that helps you see what is possible and what you can do in a little painting. You can see the texture in there pretty good. Okay. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching.